We've been sailing on the Baltic Sea, and today we've landed in Estonia.
In the city of Tallinn. We are in the old town right now, and we're going for an explore.
Come along. Tallinn was one of our stops when we took a 2-week Baltic Scandinavia cruise, and we spent an entire day exploring the old town on our own.
So let's get to know Tallinn with just a brief introduction to this beautiful Baltic gem. The charming medieval city is located on the shores of the Baltic Sea and receives nearly 3 million tourists each year. It is known as a well-preserved old town, stunning architecture, and it has an amazing and rich history. The best part, it's only a short stop away for cruise passengers. Stepping onto these cobblestones of this very old town leaves a feeling of kind of being transported back into time. I love when I see cobblestone, I love walking on cobblestone because you know that it's part of the rich history of that town. It's well preserved, ancient walls, and these amazing towers that are still standing. They surround the city, and it's just a glimpse of this fascinating past of this incredible Baltic gem. So in this episode, we're going to just take you on this journey through these winding streets of Tallinn and hopefully help you to see and uncover some sites that are worthy of visiting, some unique places that are there, some unique experiences that we had, and some amazing, delicious food that you can enjoy in the city. So if you have just one day to spend in this beautiful city as we did, we'll try to take you on our experiences.
Yeah, and we're going to start with exploring the old town. As our ship docked at Tallinn Cruise Port, we saw the views of the old town from the ship, and it looked like this was going to be a great place to explore. And if you have just one day in this part of Estonia, then Tallinn Old Town is a must-visit area. The city, this old town area, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, as it has the preserved cobblestone streets, Julie, that you mentioned, many historic buildings, and picturesque squares. And just walking through the winding streets, you get a sense of that medieval time that occurred so many centuries ago. There's many charming cafes and restaurants, which we were able to enjoy a bit. And it's just a great place to soak up the atmosphere in a very unique city.
One of the things that we saw as we wandered through the Tallinn Old Town was the Great Coastal Gate. It's also known as the Sea Gate. It's one of the most iconic landmarks in Tallinn. It is located at the eastern end of Pikk Street, P-I-K-K, and marks the entrance to the old town from the sea.
So we are learning that perhaps one of the most important things to research when you get off the cruise ship and start heading into these towns is not only where the sites are, but
Where the restrooms are. For
yes,
toilets.
yeah, public.
Now we're here early, so there's most things aren't open. But there's a cafe. I'm going to go in there. If I have to buy something, I will.
Yes,
I have to go to the restaurant.
the places where we go. So we've come across another tip when coming into the cruise ports is if you're able to be one of the first people off of the boat and near a place that you can walk to, then you can get into town and take lots of photos of things before they get crowded with the people.
Yeah, just so much easier, and you don't have a lot of obstacles to maneuver. So
Yeah.
called people.
So there's our photography tip for y'all. After the tower that you mentioned, and we just did a lot of walking through the old town. We walked this way and that way and then another way and then back again, and we probably did several circles through the town. But our first pass through, as we walked from the entrance that you get to as you approach from the cruise ship all the way to the other end where the old town ends, we came across a place called the Monument to the War of Independence. This is also known as Victory Column, and it's a significant memorial located in Tallinn's Freedom Square. And this monument was built to honor those who fought for Estonia's independence during the Estonian War of Independence from 1918 to 1920. We approached the monument through a grand staircase that led up to an impressive column. The column stands 23 meters tall, which represents the number of years that it took Estonia to gain its independence. And it's a place that we spent some time
We spent a bit of time there.
Trying to learn about this part of the world.
Yeah. Nearby this monument was our next stop, called Kiek in Kok. This is another tower. It's a medieval defensive tower located on the eastern side of Tallinn's Old Town. Its name translates to peek into the kitchen, as soldiers once used it to spy on the city's residents through their windows. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, real quickly, as you mentioned spying, I think as we were walking through the city, there was like some old KGB museum there too. We didn't stop there, but there's one of those there as well. So I digress, but go ahead.
Yeah. This tower is very well preserved. It dates all the way back to the 15th century. It offers stunning views of the surrounding area from its top floor. Inside, several floors contain exhibits displaying artifacts and information about Tallinn's military history. You can also climb up to the rooftop terrace for even more breathtaking views. The tower was once used as a gunpowder storage facility and played a significant role in defending the city during various wars.
I want to be free, baby. I want to be free. Oh, I want to break free. La 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 la. Thank you so much. But life still goes on.
On this particular cruise, we did encounter, because of the area, a lot of Russian Orthodox churches. And one of them that was incredibly grand was in Tallinn. This is the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. It is so ornate. It is so grand. You just can't miss it. And as you're walking up towards it, there's these ornate domes that just stand out completely.
Yeah, you see the building and it says, "Come take a look at me."
Yeah. This cathedral is kind of in the heart of Old Town, and it was built in the late 19th century when Estonia was part of the Russian Empire.
So we just stepped into and came out of the church behind us. I believe it's the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. And as we entered, you pointed out to me that there's signs inside that said no cameras, no videos, no speaky. So we were wanting to be respectful, so we did not take video or photo inside. So description of what did we see in there?
Ornate, lots and lots of beautiful icons everywhere. There was even a one of, I don't know who it was, it didn't label, but somebody was in repose there. They had the separation with the, I think they call it the rood or something like that, where they separate the tabernacle from the rest of the church. But just so much, there was so much.
Yeah, beautiful inside, big dome in the center, painted walls, candles, so nice to see. But we can't share what we saw exactly with you. I could have bought
some postcards.
Yeah. But if you come here to Estonia, to Tallinn, this is a place you can stop into, check it out, and make memories with your eyes. Speaking of churches, we also stopped into St. Peter and St. Paul's Cathedral, which is a Catholic church in the Old Town, and spent a bit of time exploring this place.
St. Peter and Paul's Roman Catholic Church. We went inside the chapel area. And as we were walking out, a woman said, "Do you want to see the courtyard, the medieval courtyard?" So we said yes, so that's where we're going.
St. Peter and St. Paul's was founded in the mid-1800s and stands on the foundation of what was once a Dominican monastery's refectory. And that's what kind of made this interesting to us, because there's remnants of the artifacts from those Dominican days that are still there. When we spent time wandering through the courtyard looking at, trying to understand the past of this place.
We were walking on the steps with the monks.
The cathedral has a unique blend of historical and modern elements. After the Reformation in 1524, the refectory was given to the town school, adding another layer to its rich history. Fast forward to today, this cathedral is one of only a few Catholic churches in Tallinn. It serves the local Polish and Lithuanian communities and also offers an English language mass weekly. And if you like visiting churches, you're going to find several more in Tallinn's Old Town to visit, including St. Olav and St. Mary's. But we're going to move on and talk about some other things.
We're going to talk about a museum, a little different twist here. So we stopped and visited several places in Old Town, one of which was the Tallinn City Museum. This museum showcases the city's history from its early beginnings to modern times through various exhibitions and artifacts. Inside, themed rooms display everything from medieval life to Soviet-era propaganda. The museum is housed in a 14th century merchant house, adding to this incredible, beautiful charm. I really enjoyed it. In addition to its permanent exhibitions, the Tallinn City Museum hosts temporary exhibits and events throughout the year.
Yeah, I think there was like multiple stories in this museum, and we spent probably, 30, 40 minutes in there.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah, and because we're not as familiar with this area, it was a nice way to get more information about what makes Tallinn Tallinn. If you like castles, you will want to come across the Toompea Castle, also known as the Castle of Tallinn. This is a grand structure located on the top of Toompea Hill, right in the heart of the city. It's considered one of the oldest and most iconic buildings in Tallinn, and its history goes all the way back to the 13th century. You can take a guided tour or explore the castle on your own. Inside rooms are decorated with ornate furnishings and historical artifacts that offer a glimpse into Estonia's past. Another attraction in Tallinn's Old Town is a place called Helleman Tower, which, as you'll hear, was quite memorable for me. This tower is adjacent to Viru Square. It's a well-preserved defensive tower built in the 14th century and stands over 45 meters tall, making it one of the tallest towers in Tallinn city walls. And the Helleman Tower is named after a local merchant who once occupied the land next to it. The tower took nearly 300 years to complete, mainly due to interruptions caused by uprisings and political situations. By the 16th century, the Tallinn city wall was known as one of the strongest defense systems in all of Northern Europe. And we decided to stop in and explore the site a bit more. As we entered inside, we saw there were several exhibits that showcased the tower's history and construction, plus there was displays of medieval weaponry. And then we made our way up some steep stairs because people were going up and coming down, so we thought, hey, we should do what the other people are doing.
Well, and for those that have any kind of disabilities too, those stairs are quite steep. So you have to be able to maneuver those stairs.
I don't think there's any elevator here. It's just the old stairs, right?
Yeah.
When we made our way up the stairs, we arrived in an attic type of area that opened up to a walkway. There was a door that opened up from the attic to this walkway that kind of navigated on the outside of the building.
We are on top of a defense wall. We had just climbed quite a few stairs to get up to this section, and there's still more to go. But it is a fantastic view so far that I can see from outside this door right over here. Which you can walk all the way across.
Oh my gosh. So for people scared of heights, one of us is going to be hugging the wall.
It's not too bad.
Well, it's not too good. This is only like one story up, right? Or one or two, maybe 2 stories up. It wasn't like ridiculously
It was
high.
like second story.
Yeah. But my fear of heights kicked in. This is like the most it kicked in a long time for me.
Well, that's because of the structure itself.
Yeah. So a very old structure. The walkway was wooden. I believe it was like slightly angled. And it could be my perception. It could be my fear of heights.
But also, I believe that there was some slats that you could actually see to the bottom.
Yeah. And this would be the section where one of us went out and one of us stayed back. When the breeze starts going, oh my. So, short story on this is, Julie, you ended up walking along the whole walkway and you saw things that I didn't see because I had a moment of feeling, I felt petrified. And I couldn't get myself to go outside. So I stayed in there in the attic area waiting for you to come back as other people were walking past me, probably looking at me like, what the heck is wrong with you,
No,
sir?
other people have fear of heights too, trust me.
Yeah. So I would say if you're not scared of heights, you may enjoy the walk on the outside terrace area that goes along the perimeter of this building. And if you do that, then you can see where soldiers once would have been on patrol and watch the city to defend from attacks. So you had that experience, I did not. I found it to be somewhat of a scary experience, and I thought when we were done, we would just like kind of go down those same stairs. Yeah. Julie tells me the only way out is to get on this stupid thing on the top of this tower. She says the exits are at 2 ends, so I'm walking on this thing, hugging the walls, having a panic attack. We get to the one end, and then Julie realizes, oh, the exit's on the other side. I gotta go back all the way. This is, if you're scared of heights and you come to Tallinn, don't go up here.
No, don't tell people that.
No, if you're scared of heights, I'm helping them.
Yeah, just tell them that there's a height thing, but maybe they want to get adventurous.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they just want to go back down. Oh, God, okay, here we go. Shoot. Beep. Yeah. After Julie just made me go outside, scared of heights, blah, 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 blah. I turn around over here back inside the way we came, and there is the exit sign. I made it back, and I'm here to tell about my story.
Yeah.
So, but that fear factor does make it memorable. I mean, I vividly remember that whole experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was up that very top window. So were you. You were up there too. Looking down. In the walkway.
Walkway going all the way, all the way. Not happily. I like it down here. I like it down there, Julie.
I hope you never get trapped on a mountain. Seriously.
Time for food?
Yeah, a little bit of food, just a little bit. So fill my tummy up a little.
And as we do, we're always searching for something that is exclusive to the area. You know, it's their cultural food. So we found something, and it's called the Old Hansa Restaurant. So we looked and looked and looked. It took us a little bit, and we stopped at this restaurant because of the signage said it was the food of Estonia.
Not only Estonia, medieval Estonia.
Yes. So this was medieval food and medieval style. And the employees, the staff were dressed in medieval costume, which was kind of fun. So it kind of went back to its 15th century decor. And the traditional Estonian cuisine of that time.
So disorienting.
This is really fascinating.
Fascinating. Beer vessels.
Very interesting beer vessels.
So we ordered our meal, and it was accompanied by dark herbal beer.
The pirate vessel. Aye, matey. I'll stop that. So this is mushroom soup. We both have mushroom soup. And it came with bread with nuts and herbs in it and some kind of cheese. And then we had the hummus with spinach and the crispy bread. He called it chickpea bread.
And at Old Hansa, you can enjoy dishes prepared using historical recipes and cooking methods. It's truly a one-of-a-kind of experience, and it immerses the guests into Tallinn's past. Also, before you leave, you want to wash up or relieve yourself and stuff like that. So I had the opportunity to go into the restrooms, which were modern yet not. So it had a very different type of experiences, even if you wanted to just go wash up.
Yeah, I vaguely remember having a sense of confusion when I went into the bathroom.
Yes, me too.
Because it didn't function as your typical bathroom.
Right.
Interesting looking house there.
I'm totally fascinated by this house completely because it's wood. And you can see damage all over it, but it's got a story. It's also leaning a little bit or something. Yes.
So after our meal, we continue to explore the area, and this is it's a wonderful area that you can spend hours wandering the shops, the museums, everything that there is to see, all of the history. Before leaving the walled old town, we did wander over to Toompea Hill, where we climbed 157 steps up to the observation platform, where we were able to see some final panoramic views of Tallinn and its surroundings, and the view from there was just magnificent.
Yes, it was incredible.
Yeah, that's also where we saw, and I'm not going to remember the name of the instrument, but there was this guy up there playing.
He has a YouTube video, a YouTube channel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you find it, I can
I'm cued into it.
add it to the show notes. But he played this, it looked like a violin, but it had keys, like these levers on
amazing.
It was one of these instruments that is more common in that part of the world. So again, try to spend some time experiencing something that we don't experience where we live.
So now it's the end of the day, and we got to get back to the cruise ship. But on our way back, we stopped at Tallinna Linnahall. It is a massive concrete structure located by the harbor in Tallinn's Old Town. It was built in 1980 to host events for the Moscow Olympics and was a viewing venue for sailing events. Though the structure was conceived as a 5,000-seat amphitheater and a 3,000-seat ice hall, it stands today as an abandoned relic from the Soviet era.
It had this dystopian quality
so
for me. Yeah, just covered in graffiti.
Yeah,
completely on the one hand, you could tell completely abandoned, but intriguing enough where
we went
people were exploring the grounds there and checking it out.
Yeah,
because it was massive.
And it felt Soviet era.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It felt like a Soviet era abandonment of something, and we weren't. I don't know if we knew at the time what it was. We didn't.
Not entirely.
Yeah. So as you said, there were many people exploring this concrete massive structure. Some people see this visual similarity to the ancient Mayan pyramids when they're viewing this structure and walking through this structure. It has entered a period of hibernation since 2010, being all but abandoned. It serves as a canvas for, as you said, for graffiti artists. There's much graffiti on this, and just attracts tourism like, people like us. It just looks like there's this big question mark and you want to explore it. So we walked the outside steps to the roof of this hall. You can't get inside. I mean, it's all closed off. And you can see again these stunning views of Tallinn's skyline. In addition to being designed as a cultural and sporting venue of its time, the Soviets also imagined a use during wartime, given its location by the sea. With flat roofs, the venue could be a perfect spot for cannons to cover the entire Bay of Tallinn, just in case evil invaders from Finland should show up to decide to conquer Tallinn. In 2019, though, the city revealed plans to update the structure into an opera house. That's an interesting conversion. Though during our visit, it still looked like a ghost town. And someday maybe we'll come back to it and it'll be different.
So we ended up exploring Tallinn on our own. If you find yourself here as part of a cruise stop, you'll most likely find excursions being offered from your cruise ship. If you're comfortable with a DIY experience, we suggest save your money, don't book a tour, and experience Old Town on your own. The area is very walkable, and you can easily get to nearly all of the sites offered on the cruise line tours for Old Town Tallinn. And I think this is one of those places, because I did recently look at the Princess Cruise website for what are the excursions that are offered when you stop at Tallinn. And it just felt to me like you're paying extra money that you don't need to pay to do something on your own. So, I mean, if you feel challenged finding places, walking to places, if you want that extra hand-holding, then the excursions are an option. But if you're comfortable doing exploration on yourself, this is one of those areas where I would say forget the tours offered by the cruise ship, unless you find one that's going to take you outside of Old Town and you want to see something that you can't walk to.
Right.
Yeah. So Tallinn, Estonia, especially its Old Town, makes for a wonderful day trip, especially if you find it as a port of call on a future cruise. It's an incredibly picturesque city, and it's a place where you're going to be inspired to take many photographs. We found it to be extremely walkable, and it was one of the highlights of our time in this part of the world.
Yes.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And to see our future travel adventures, hit the subscribe option.
We'll be back soon with more adventures from the places where we go.